Good afternoon, good evening, happy Hanukkah and August and summertime and fun and sun. It's the PH Alliance, and what do you know? We actually have all three guys tonight. Siha back from a big cross-country tour. I know Creel's been in and out of town and now on his way to Kelowna working with their teams as all the teams are starting to hit rank bonuses. Big ranks being hit this month with Siha. Looks like he's going to go 2-3. Amanda's going to go 2-2. Maybe you can talk about that. Some big things. Creel getting ready to go 2-2. Very exciting stuff and all the teams. Hey, guys, you want to talk a little bit about all the exciting ranks that are happening and some of the people involved?
Yeah, I'd love to. You don't mind if I just jump in, Creel? Awesome. Hello, everybody. It's Siha here from beautiful Bellingham, Washington. Finally home, back at my home here. I love it here. Went across last week with Antonina and the team. We went from Victoria all the way to Calgary and everywhere in between. It was a 9-day, almost 9-city road tour, demos almost every day except for one day. I took a day off of Saturday. The teams are just on fire. We've met so many new people, and there's so many new happening things all over Canada. So I was a Canadian all week, and I love what we do, and I love doing it around the world, and that's what I did all week last week. It was just connect with everybody that was up there in Canada, and just see all the excitement and all the ranks that are going up there as well, and all the new people that are coming on board, and they're getting plugged in. We at these cities, I was able to plug them into the Prosperity and Health Alliance.com website, which is what we're on, and show a lot of the leaders, what we had in place for a system, and a lot of the new people, what we had in place, and that was just, it was a huge part of my travels and doing business training. That was a 1, 2, 3 system, because it didn't matter if they were in there for the first day or the first week or 3-5 years into the game. I was able to roll out something that everybody could follow. So I really love our system. So thank you, Creel, Wade, for putting this all together so that I can share that. So that was my week, and now I'm back home, and so I'm ready to go and talk about success here tonight, guys.
That's awesome. Great to hear. Sia, of course, the hardest working man in Congan. Great to have you on board. Great to have you on the call. Creel, a lot of things going on in your world as well. We had some planning happening, and want to talk a little bit. You're ready to hit another rank, so that's pretty exciting. No, we can't hear you. Can't hear your volume.
There we go. Spent last week in Saskatoon working with Downline, and had a great presentation. Lots of people turning out. I also think Roshek is doing a presentation as we speak right now. And just really excited about the leaders that are growing and presenting themselves, and just really wanting to step into new terrain in their own business. One of the things I want to kind of talk about or kind of mention tonight is just the key is duplication, and Siha mentioned it in the training system, and I think it's something that has taken me a little while to really figure out. It doesn't really matter how great people are. If you can't teach it, it's not worth doing. And so I think I've seen that mistake over the years being on the road, and seeing that, oh, wow, I've been able to do a lot of things, but have I been able to teach other people to do that? And I think we're all learning the last 12 months with the PH Alliance and the training system and being out there that it's really key to duplicate ourselves and allow leaders to become leaders. And instead of driving a fish, show people how to be fishermen and fisherwomen. So that was a really big thing I learned in the last week, and I'm going to bring a little bit of that later on in here. But great to be on, and thanks for everybody joining us.
As always, it's great to have you both guys, and you both bring a lot to the table. Of course, I feel very grateful to have you part of the Prosperity and Health Alliance. And for everybody else that's out there, understand there's only a few things that we actually need to do in this business to get up to those ranks that you want to hit and hit those income levels you want to do. And I'm going to go over those things here in a slide in just a couple seconds. But I want to say this is, a lot of people really complicate this thing. And you can learn a lot about the business. You can learn a lot about the water. You can learn a lot about marketing and promotion. You can learn about all these different things, or you can get the various tools, or you can become a water expert. But at the end of the day, there's only a few things you do. You know what? The Prosperity and Health Alliance system, why we developed that is because we wanted to, if you want to dive deep and get all the information, that's awesome. But at the end of the day, it's about action. And it's about the habits that you build into your life about action. So if you, for example, if I go to the gym and I want to work out, I can't just do one workout or do a workout this week and 3 next week and none the week after and 5 after that. What if that's going to happen to me? Nothing. I'm going to be spinning my wheels. And so you got to set aside some time, and you got to commit. If it's 2 hours a week or 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week or like Siha, 80 hours a week, it comes down to what can you commit to, and then do that commitment. And as the results start to flow in, you can start saying, well, you know, I'm putting in 10 hours a week right now, and it's bringing me in $500, $1,000 a month. What would happen if I went to 20? And I'll tell you what happens. It's not a linear. When you go 10, if 10 is bringing you $500 a month, you go to 20, it brings you 2,000. You go to 30, it brings you 4. And please, you know, don't use these numbers as quotes. I'm just trying to share with you. It's not a It's not a logger. Like, it's not linear. There's a certain point that you're going to find that it hits, and then as your skill goes up, it starts to get to the hockey stick. But the only way your skill goes up is if you actually do the habits. And I always have this saying is, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing poorly. And I do a lot of things in this business poorly. And I think the other guys would say there's things that they do poorly. But the reality is I get incrementally better, and I learn incrementally over time. And when you do that, it's like, okay, I can do this. So let's talk about that. I'm going to jump into the slide, guys, and then we're going to bring you guys back. We're going to talk about some questions, and we got the big September 11th event. So I'm just going to pull this up and rock and roll here. So let's talk about the 3 habits of action that leads to success. There's really only a few habits, and I've rolled it down to 3. Here's weekly number 1. If you're on this webinar, you've got the number 1 habit. And I'm not just going to talk about our webinar, the PH Alliance. There's a lot of other webinars. There's the Danny D. McCauley that we do first of every month. I love Danny. See, he reminds us of all the things that we need to do. Very, very successful. These are $1 million earners. Imagine you're getting $1 million earner talking about this. And what do? You go to the online webinars. As you guys know, I own a number of businesses, and I can tell you this, of all the things that I do, of every single thing that I do in my businesses, webinars make me the most money. Webinars help me train the most people. Webinars help me get the most clients. And so and that doesn't mean you have to do the webinar. We'll do the webinars for you. Okay, we've got webinars for you. You can use these video tools. That way you can get demos done, you can get people plugged in, you can plug other people into business opportunities, and we're going to be ramping up some of the more business and product-oriented webinars over the fall, which is pretty exciting. And you want to stick on tonight to find out about the September 11th event, where you can get tickets and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be awesome. The next habit of action, this is number 2, is you got to attend or host public demonstrations. And here's the thing. The lowest amount that you need to go is bi-weekly. And what I mean by that is, when I started out in this business, I went every Tuesday and Thursday to a demonstration. And I did this for about 6 months straight. Plus, I started doing my own demos at that time. And plus, I started going out to one-on-one. So people say, well, wait, how did you end up doing 6 figures in your first year? It's because I went to a lot of demos, and I took people to those demos. And when I didn't have somebody there, I went anyways, and I kept learning the demonstration so that I wasn't reliant on someone else to do it. The sooner that you can do demonstrations, the quicker your business goes. So let's just look at that. For example, if I started out and I'm going to 2 demos a week, and I'm bringing somebody to the demo. But as I started doing demos, I started to be able to take the demo to people. Now what happened is I started increasing my amount of people who were getting exposed. So I went from 1 or 2 people a week or 3 people a week to 4 people a week. Then I started doing it, And as I started doing one of those, pretty soon, I was hosting my own. Guess what I was hosting? Tuesdays and Thursdays at my own place. And then I started with a couple of people, 3 people, 4 people, and sometimes it was just only us, the people that were there, and people would come, and then it was 5, and then 15, and then by the end of it, we're getting 20, 30, 40 people sometimes out to these demonstrations twice a week. And so from that is how I build my business, because it's more eyes coming onto it, okay? And the next thing, you got to plan, you got to promote, and you got to participate in the organizational events, and you need to get to one every quarter. The reason why is events create social proof, events create connection, events do something that a webinar or an online seminar can't do. There's a visceral, emotional, energetic feeling that people get from going to the events. The other thing is the more that you become involved in the event, the more powerful it becomes. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot of work to put on an event. It's very time consuming, and it doesn't reward you financially when you're involved in the event. I'm going to be clear about that. But there's another thing that happens at the event. When you are participating and getting involved with an event, you get to spend time with the best people in the business. So when I started out, I was going to all the events and helping, being part of it and promote the events and that sort of stuff. What happened is now I'm getting to spend time with all the leaders who were making the millions of dollars. And sometimes I'd go and I'd learn 2, 3, 4, 5 tips. I can remember sitting with Romeo Verdera, and he's breaking down the business for like 2.5 hours in a bar in Seattle. I remember spending a whole lot of time with Fred Brown in both Hawaii and in Las Vegas and in Phoenix. I remember spending time with all of the leaders in California over and over. And so getting involved in the event allows you access to people, and you get to know a lot of things that really can accelerate your business side of the business, or some of the nuances that you wouldn't normally get, or people can provide some insight for you that it can just really accelerate things. If you're always on the edge, you don't feel like you're part of it, and it's hard to take ownership. And then other people see you as part of the event if you're bringing people. So that has a major street credibility for you. Now, what's the obstacle? Fear. I mean, let's face it. The reality is this. This is what stops most people. This is what stops most people from doing an event, from hosting an event, from bringing someone to an event, from making a phone call, from virtually everything. It's fear. Fear. Fear of loss of status. Fear that they'll say no. Fear that you'll say the wrong thing. Fear that the demo is going to go wrong. Fear that it won't work. Fear that your friends are going to laugh at you. Fear that your family is going to be upset. Fear that you're going to fail on some level. Fear sometimes of success. The reality is everybody has to face their fear in this business. It will come up. And almost all the little nuances that you think of, like I'll do a bad demo, or I'm going to look silly and stuff, or something's going to go wrong, all that's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just accept it. It's okay. There's no one person that's going to make or break your business. And the reality is this. You can never say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can never say the right thing to the wrong person. And after you do a bunch of these presentations, you really understand that. So you got to face the fear, and you got to go through it. And what interesting thing is about when you face fear, it tends to fade away. The other thing is you got to reward yourself. Every time that you go past the fear, it doesn't matter the result. You pick up the phone, you send the text message, you do a demonstration, you drop off water at somebody's house, you reach out and talk to someone at an event to tell them about what you're involved in. You got to find some way to give yourself a reward, to recognize that you've done that. That changes the fear into a belief system, a belief in yourself, and it rewires the fear matrix from whatever that happens. And that's really, really important in order to get the subconscious mind. And there's lots of stuff out there. If you're really struggling with this, I know I've had a number of distributors that do really well with a neuro-linguistic programming, or also with hypnosis is another way. You can hire hypnosis and really get yourself in the sense. There's a lot of great ways to do it. Get a coach, these type of things. So what are the 3 things that we do? And Danny talks about this. You got to share the water. The more people you have on the water, the better this is. So you don't have to be a water expert to share the water, right? And by the way, I'm going to be doing a webinar this Thursday on the no-fail diet. That's the 4 Quarts of Water program. I'm going to be doing it this Thursday night, 6 p.m. Check my Facebook, check the PH Alliance stuff. I'll be talking about that. You can bring anybody you want on that. That's a really good presentation. It's a hybrid. It's an improved version of what we did online on stage at Vegas. And if those were there, we've got a lot of positive feedback on it, and people love that. So the second thing is you got to share the business opportunity. I was so bad at sharing the business opportunity early on, and the reality is, if it wasn't for Siha, I don't know if I ever would have got it. Siha really changed my mind about what the business could do for people, and that was a big, big thing for me. And I used to never talk about the business in my first year, and then it just kind of moved on because I got into it for the health. So share the business opportunity. You don't know. Right now, actually, there's so many people looking for a business opportunity. So many people need to make extra money. The world's changing. Economy's changing. Job security's out the window. Things are going up. It's time to share the business opportunity. People are open to it more than you think. And the next thing is promote, 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 promote. You got to promote events. You got to promote the Monday night webinars to the team. You got to promote the September 11th event coming up. You got to promote the various events, whether it's Eric Worre, whether it's going as a, and that doesn't mean that everybody's going to come in that, but you need to promote. And not just, promotion doesn't mean send one email or one text. That means, hey man, hey, look, we're going to this, I'm going, I've committed to this, I got my tickets, you guys coming, how many people can you bring, who do you want to go, that sort of stuff. Promote, 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 promote. You've got to be talking about events, because events make people make decisions, and that's what really wins. So our simple weekly format really comes down to this. Every week, you got to send out 25 texts. 25 texts. You need to get, out of those texts, you need to get 5 appointments. If you get 5 appointments, you are rocking and rolling in this business. And you follow up, you follow up. Now, when you send up 25 texts, just, hey, what's up? Let's set an appointment. Let's go for coffee. Let's meet up. Come on over to the house. I got something I want to share with you. Let's get you some water. Now, when you start out, you're going to get maybe 5 appointments, but those other people that aren't responding, when I say 25 texts, that means to 25 different people. You want to open the lines to 25 people to start. The next week, you're only going to have to add 5 people because you're following up with the other 20. You keep going. You keep following up. There's a lot of distractions out there. By the way, just because someone doesn't get back to you, or just because they didn't follow up or they missed a meeting, that doesn't mean they're just busy. It's not you. It's no big deal. You just keep showing up, because what that's doing is that's building up that, hey man, this person's serious. This person's really going somewhere. This must be important. Be the person that makes yourself known as the important person. The bottom line is you need to expose to about 500 people. Exposed to about 500 people will get you to 6A. And that means it could be direct people. It could be people coming group. And the reality is you're going to close about 8 to 12 people. That's it. 8 to 12 people in your directs. That's going to get you into that 6A zone, because they're them people and those on and so forth. So it's not who you know. It's how many people see the demo, and appointments are the key, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's webinars, whether it's coming over to your house. Is it a down and dirty demo, a mini demo, a video demo, all that sort of stuff, and then get them on the water. So those are the things that you need to be doing. That's it. That's all you need to be doing. Okay? There's no great thing. So let's talk about the next big event. I'm going to be posting this in the PH Alliance. You're going to get an email about this. We've got the Turbo Sunday and Magic Business Train. Get your tickets now. Commit to your tickets. I do believe Creel's helping out, and Siha and everything. Creel's one of the organizers with us on this event. It's going to be a great event. It's 5 straight hours. We do need some help with this, so people want to offer up. That would be really great. We'd love to have you. Send an email to myself or Creel or Siha or whatever to get a hold of us, and we've got some ideas. I think there was something in the PH Alliance, so please feel free to reach out to us and get involved in the next big event. And so I will send a link. I'm going to copy this link, and we'll get you over. So guys, if you guys want to come back and add your 2 cents worth on these essential habits here on a cool sunny evening in August.
That was excellent, Wade. Thank you so much for laying that out. Speaking of events, before I forget, October 15th down here, also in the U.S., will be the Super Saturday for the Pacific Northwest. So we always get a lot of participant from our teams in Vancouver. So staying along lines with the event. Creel, do you want to take over?
Yeah, I just want to, back up what Wade had to say there. And Wade, that was great. You just make it very simple. And my own personal story, when you were doing those 2 demos, it was Tuesday and Thursday nights in Vancouver. I came to each one of them for, it must have been 2 to 3 months. So I saw, what's that, a dozen, I saw about 25 demos. And by the end of the 3rd month, I was just like, great, I'm going to go do my own demo now. And literally that's what it took. And you told me just keep coming. And about 75% of the time I brought somebody, the other 25% I brought myself. Took notes and just kept learning and learning. So I think when you make the commitment to really understand and really do this, then you just do those steps. And some people will take 6 years to do the steps. Other people will take 6 months. There's not really a secret formula here. I think it's about the hustle and about condensing the amount of information you need to be very successful into a shorter period of time, which will actually attract more influential people because you'll have more success faster. So there's not a secret formula. I think, or the secret formula is consistency and mindset. Just do it. So that might be 3 hours a week, 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, whatever it is, you're doing the action steps that Wade just presented. And then I want to throw in one other aspect, and I talked about this earlier, which is really the key is duplication here. I have seen people become fabulous salesmen, saleswomen in this business, and they're at 6A levels, and they can sell a machine and they can make 56% or $2,000, $2,500. But they do not have an organization underneath them, so they've just got a really great sales job that they can lean into once a month, and make a sale. If you're serious about doing what we're doing, the key is duplication. And I would really stress you want to learn that from the day one and really put it into your practices, your attitudes, and when you're bringing new people in about how do I remove myself from this equation as quickly as possible. You're there as a support and mentor for life, but do not be the bottleneck in somebody else's business. If they need to come to you to get their business up and running or moving forward or asking questions too much, like long term, something is wrong in the education process. So I've really learned that myself. I think the first few years I just did too much, and it really held some of my key people back.
Webinar
and I've made the commitment to, with Wade's help, in the last 12 months to really identify the patterns in my own leadership that stagnates that potential in people to really grow and explode. So part of the PH Alliance and the training system was to automate that so people could really plug in. And I think, I'm working on the 2.0 version, which is really we're embedding the webinars that we felt have great value. We're cleaning up some of the stuff in the first 24 emails. That will be released again September 13th or September 12th, which is the Monday after our Turbo Super Sunday. So there's a lot of great stuff happening, everybody. And you want to learn this piece, duplication. So when we release the new training format, I really encourage everybody, grab those 24 emails, put them in a folder on your desktop, and when people start asking, you can reference check the table of contents and say, you know what, Anne, that's a really great question. And it stumped me when I first got it started. And I could tell you the answer, but what I really want to do is make sure you've got the answer so you can find it all the time, and you also know where you can teach other people because they're going to ask you the same question. So I think you should go back to the email number 16 in the automated training system and check out the webinar and check out the links there. It will answer your question, and then you can show other people. That, to me, is the future for the next 5 to 10 years. If you really want to get your time freedom back, you've got to be able to embed people in a system that duplicates itself. It's great to sell machines and travel all around, but unless people are able to do the 3 things that Wade suggested on their own, in their own hometown, with their own organizations, it becomes very frustrating after a few years. So think duplication from the beginning. It doesn't matter how great an idea it is and how good you're at doing it. If other people can't duplicate it, don't do it. If you can't teach it, don't do it. And have a lot of fun and show other people that formula. So that's my 2 cents for tonight. I'll pass it over to you, Siha, for some words as well.
Thank you. I got some really good advice when I started, when Wade was there and our good friend George was there. And George, of course, was a success and a mentor for me at the very beginning. And I went to George and I said, George, how do I get to where you're at as fast as I can? And just like you all said right there, duplication. George said, Siha, you learn how to do the presentation and you teach others how to do the presentations as fast as you can. You remember that, Wade? Yeah,
I really do.
So,
But just to interrupt on that, just
yeah.
to so you know, I wasn't like mega successful in the business, and Siha was coming from a business background, and so, you know, I knew that I needed to get somebody that could speak his language because I didn't, and I asked George to come talk to Siha, and that was a big game changer. So you got to realize if you have somebody that you think is out of your league, they're not. That's exactly where you want to be. You want to sponsor up, not down. And feel free to bring in your leadership, your 6A, your 6A2, one of us, any of that sort of stuff to come in and help you, because we can share things that they want to know, and that decision can make it can make you a lot of money over the long run. CEO has made me a lot of money since that time. Thank you very much, and I appreciate that. So.
Well, again, great advice. I got it from the very beginning, and now we're sharing it with you guys. And 8 years of sharing this, I know that this works. So some things that I've learned from so many mentors, Creel and Wade and George, and so many of you, even all of our teammates out there. One of the things I'd like to share some of those with you guys. Being the best you. Everybody's coming from different backgrounds, coming from different organizations, all that. I would start with just you. Being the best you that you can be, because only you know that. You know where you were, you know where you are, and you know where you're going. And so if you can just be the best you and then just improve 1% a day, 1% a day, that's the best you. And that's what I try to practice and preach, or that's what I try to do myself every day, is just being the best me. Before I go to bed, I always have a to-do list. I like to call it the to-done list because I want to manifest getting it done. That's before I go to bed. I have it all ready to go, because it's at the end of the day, what did get finished, I know what I need to do for tomorrow, the most important thing. So I put together a to-do list. And then when I wake up in the morning, I take action. So nothing happens without action. That saying that goes, blank happens. Well, I say action happens. And so I'd like to share that with everybody, that every morning, I say action happens instead of the other word, and it does. So taking action on your list, continuing to search and learn. Again, we're talking about being the best person that you can be. I'm always looking for who can teach me something. Creel, teach me something. I love listening. I love listening to people tell me and teach me something. Because it's going to better me. It's going to better my game. And so always be searching for, and learning from the best people, recognizing at the end of the day your accomplishments, your small accomplishments, like Wade was saying, a little bit at a time, but those small accomplishments become big accomplishments when you add them up. So planning ahead and planning ahead in your schedule and in your goals, visualizing your outcome and your rewards. That really helps. Again, we're talking about being successful. So doing those three things and adding all these little things in there, planning ahead, visualizing your outcome and your rewards, helping others do more. Every day I try to help others do more. I try to help others accomplish more and become more. And when they do all that, I become more. So, sometimes we get lost in our daily activities or spinning our wheels. I just back up, take a deep breath, and go, okay, who can I help right now? Who on my team can I think of that needs my help, that I can help them be that much better today? I just want to help. So again, I never forget about my team. I never forget about you. What can I do to serve you better, to be a better leader? So help others do more, accomplish more, and become more. Every day I'm grateful for what I have. So we should take a step back and be grateful for what we have, every day, and what will become. And so that's my little short list of what I do every day. And then what do I do after I do all that? After I'm all grateful and all that, I repeat the next day. So those are my 2 cents for the day for success. And I see it happening all over our teams, and everybody has their own little list, but here's my little list for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.
Great stuff, guys. That was a really poignant point. So for over those listening, you can get the webinar after and go that. Kim, by the way, we're trying to post up the information on the Eventbrite event. Were we able to get that posted? For some reason, I couldn't copy it on the September 11th event.
No,
So
no, but if you forward that email to Creel, he should be able to copy and paste it in the chat if he knows how to do that. Creel, you know how to do that? Yeah, if you'll forward that to Creel. I've got everything minimized for the replay, but everybody can see your screen right now, but they won't be able to in the replay.
Okay, so I
And
can
I'll
forward
edit
it.
this out, but if you just give that to Creel, he can copy, paste it in the chat to everyone, okay?
Yeah, for some reason it won't go on mine. Any reason why that is?
What won't go on? Oh, you can't copy it and paste it on yours? I don't know why.
No, that's the whole point. That's I'm having a problem
Weird.
with.
I don't know why.
Well, that's why we have it. But bottom line, it'll be, if we don't get it out tonight, we will have it available in the email this morning. You'll see
Wade,
it
you
in the morning.
should have it. I just posted it. It looks like two
Yeah.
organizers. You should be able to grab that and send it out to the group. Oh, I'll do it to the group right here.
There we go. Perfect. Awesome. So basically what it is Turbo Super Sunday. Again, there's going to be no fluff, 5 hours, nonstop. It's going to be from noon to 5 on Sunday afternoon. September 11th is the event. Look, this is the one that's going to change the program. This is the one that's going to change. Look, it's going to be 90 days, basically, 100 days to Christmas. Okay? How was your Christmas last year? Was it great? Did you give away all the presents that you wanted? Was there something that you wanted to do that you wish you could have done a little more, given a little more, maybe gone visit some family members? How really was that really? Well, guess what? This is the chance that you get to make it better. There's nothing better to kick things off than an event. So get plugged in, come to the event, come reach out to everybody, get your game plan on. Plan on it. Look, bring a couple friends. Bring some old distributors that have died and lost in the dirt somewhere. You know, bring your grandma, bring your family, bring your enemies. You know, they'll become friends. We all need more friends. Here, the thing is this, guys, this is the event you want to be at. It's going to be an awesome event. It's going to be able to get the team plugged in. It's going to get your team members plugged into the webinars that haven't been on it or into the system or the PH Alliance. We've got some more announcements, and we've got some more business building things. So as the fall rolls out, you're going to see, Creel, I know Creel and myself have been planning this out. We're going to more webinar formats. So basically what I used to do in having the home demo, I used to do the home demo a couple times a week. Well, now because the organization is so big, and who knows where my home is going to be on a given month, I like to travel a lot. So the bottom line is, we're going to create these webinars for you so that you can plug people into, we can connect with them and meet and go along like that. So everything's going digital. We're really excited about it. If you have any questions, if we got any questions here tonight, guys, and if not, we'll go through it. So there's another thing, guys. You got to ask questions. When you got those burning things or the things you're embarrassed about, the things you're not, there's no dumb questions. You got to ask questions. The smartest, most successful people in the world ask a lot of questions. So let's see if you got any. No questions. Guys, we know everything? Are we all going 6A tomorrow? Are we going to be 6A23 next week? The reality is we're here to help. And we've probably solved or been through or endured or whatever, every single question you can possibly think. Everything that could possibly go wrong in your business, we've all experienced it 20 times over. Like everything, really. So the reality is nobody gets out with some scars. So there, here we go. Quick question for y'all. Okay, hey Michael, great to hear from you. What steps would you recommend walking a prospect through, Michael? How would you want to, who wants to answer that one?
I can answer that one. So we need to kind of make up a little scenario. If I've got a prospect, that means somebody I'm just meeting or someone I know a little bit. So let's say I'm having tea or I'm having a phone call with them. and we've been chatting, we've been good rapport back and forth. I've been asking them what's happening in their life, and they've been asking me, and I've told them a little bit about the water, the business. They like that. I've asked them some questions, how's your health and what kind of water you're drinking. And I'm at the point where I feel like there's enough interest that I can now ask to do something. So I'm going to ask the person and say something like, hey, it sounds like you might be interested in what I got going on. If I sent you a video which is about 20 minutes long, would you check it out and give me some feedback? So literally I've done the invitation, and they're going to say one or two things. They're going to say yes, in which response being like, great, should I email it to you or should I text you this little video? It's only going to take you 20 minutes. What's the best way to do that? I find out. I say, when do you think you can watch it? They say, I'm busy this evening, but I've got some time on the weekend. I'm like, great, well, can we talk Sunday night or maybe Monday? Because I'd love to hear what you think. And I book a time, and I say, great, and that's it. Then I go on to talking about other things. I don't try to present anymore. If the person says, no, I'm not really that interested, I'm like, great. And I continue on. Having a conversation with someone. Maybe something else will pop up. Maybe there'll be another opportunity. But at some point, I invite them to take a look at something. Now I call them on Monday night. What did you like best? Oh, I like the part about emulsifying the oil. I'm like, yeah, I really like that part too. I've been using it for a couple of years. It's been cleaning my fruits and vegetables. What else did you like? Oh, I like this, this, and that. I'm like, well, it sounds like you're kind of excited as I was. So, would you like to try out the water, or maybe you'd like some more information? How can I help you? And I ask the person. They tell me what's going to happen. I invite them to another piece of information, or I set them up with a water trial. So I keep doing the inviting formula with a prospect. If I call them on Monday night and they say, hey, I like everything, but I went online, saw something, and it looks like I can get the same machine for somewhere else. So now you've got an objection, and I just deal with the objection. I'm like, hey, I know exactly what you mean. I invite them to take a look at a piece of information that's going to help share our story. So with a prospect, I'm just continually inviting and following up. And at a certain point, I get comfortable enough where they've, it's maybe been 3 weeks in, they've looked at information, they've tried the water, that now I can follow up saying, hey, it sounds like you're interested. Would you like to get one of these? So that's how I handle it.
One thing I want to add on that, I think Michael added to it, is and let Siha take this one. How long before you offer them a Good Samaritan program? I think that was the other part of the question. So what's your thoughts on that, Siha?
Michael, thank you for the question. As you're asking this, I'm putting myself in a real situation, kind of like what Creel was doing there. When I'm getting to know someone, I do what Wade suggests earlier, and that is ask questions. I ask so many questions. I really want to get to know this prospect. I really want to get to know what floats their boat, what they like, what their dislikes are, where are they at in their life, where are they going, do they have any kids, what are their hobbies. So I'm asking a lot of questions so that I can figure out in the time that I'm getting to know them, I'm thinking about how can I help this person with what we have. Can I help them with our opportunity because that's what they're looking for, or can I help them with the health, with the water or the econ? That's what they're looking for. What is it? So the only way that I'm going to know what they need is really just by asking questions and asking questions and asking questions in a friendly way. I'm just becoming their friend. I want to know pretty much everything about them. I want a long relationship. I don't want a quick, a cup of coffee and it's on, and then we're done. No. That's not how I am, and I don't think that's a lot of people. They don't want to be like that. Then they sense that you're just selling. You're just there for the buck. No. I really want to get to know them. So to answer your question, I would just ask to walk them through it. The more I ask them, the more I know what they want, the more I can deliver. And your second part of the question was, before going to the Samaritan, that doesn't even come up in my frame of thinking because I'm not going that way. I'm trying to get them to, if anything, commit without doing the Samaritan program. If that comes up down the line, sure, I'll bring it up, but the only in my experience, the only time that would come up is that I know absolutely in getting to know them that they have no ability to buy now, but they have a lot of strong leads or a lot of strong referrals that we can work together on, and we can help get those referrals signed on. Other than that, the Good Samaritan just doesn't even pop into my head, and that's the honest feedback that I've got for you.
I'll add to that. JV Pacifico, who has about 85 or 90% of North America under him, didn't have enough money to pay his rent, didn't have enough money to pay for his machine, missed payments on his machine, and somehow he ended up with 90% of the people under his business. Why I'm telling you this is this. It all comes down to you determining who's going to be in your life. I have not seen a lot of people become successful in Good Samaritan programs. I just haven't. It's okay every now and then, but if you are checking out to a Good Samaritan early, you're leaving, it becomes a default. It becomes an opening, and I think that's the psychological component that Siha is having, because at the end of the day, if people don't pay for something, they don't value it. And if they don't pay for your time, they don't value it. If they don't invest in their business, they're not going to make it. There's nobody in the world that's making millions of dollars that does not believe that they should invest in their business. There's nobody. There's nobody making any money in any business that doesn't believe. And so the quickest thing you can do is if somebody has somebody ready to go and they don't have any money, fine, take it, and that's it. That's the only time that you do it. So other than that, it just doesn't go anywhere. And the worst part is it starts to lower the bar to entry and starts wasting your time. So we'll move along after that. So here's a question from Christina Pack. Great to have you on the call, Christina. When do you go deep or wide in your organization? So Siha, since you have, I think, both the widest and maybe the deepest organization, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, and I'm going to keep it really simple. Go wide. That's, I was with Wade, and I know that when Wade and I first started, what do I do? Do I wait for a winner to put in my 2A and my 3A and 4A? And Wade being way back then, he said, no, you put them in right where they come in. And that was the best advice that I could ever gotten from anybody at the time when I was first starting out, because I didn't understand the concept, the binary concept. I didn't understand going deep or wide. And if you're just starting out or you've been doing this for a while, my personal feeling is just go wide, and then because they're right next to you. Wade gave me another advice. Keep your family and your friends as close as possible. What does that mean? That means go wide, because you're going to be working with them. That means keep them as close as you can and go wide. And then as they start to build their business, you organically will go deep. Does that make sense? So my simple answer, go wide, and as you grow, as you help their team, you're going to go organically deep anyways. I don't, if you go deep too soon, I believe in my models, if I go deep too soon, they fall out of my count. So that's why I say go wide, and then as they grow, go deep, and you're going to have a very solid foundation. You guys can add to that.
You're muted, Kirill.
What I'll add to that is the videos that we've put out on the PH Alliance, which talks about the structure coming in with the entrepreneurial package. I would just follow that, whereas you buy the Anaspa, the K8, the Ukon, and then you build a business underneath the Ukon and you go wide there. So in reality, you've created an initial depth with your two business centers, but you need to go wide in order to find leaders. And leaders will present themselves, but you've got to go wide enough to and put people into the program. And the leaders who are calling you, showing up, presenting, taking stance on. When I find a leader, then I'll say, hey, I'm going to identify and start working with this person. So that could be a little bit in depth, but I'm still then looking for new people in the program. But all three of us on here, we are always front line bringing people into this. We have to be very clear in NAGIC, the compensation program rewards productivity. You cannot sit back and just collect here. You got to be bringing people in. So I tell all my people, you got to always be bringing new people in and then working with leaders and duplicating that way. So I think it's a combination of both, but I would follow the video that we put out already. You know, there's a 6-minute video that I show that really clearly, and but you know, do the structure and then build wide until you find 2 leaders in a leg, and then you can figure out another leg from there.
And then you go deep.
Real simple. Width builds income, depth builds security, and I have a policy. As soon as I find somebody who's doing the business and taking action and working the business, I'll go as deep as I gotta go in that organization till I find a couple people that are going to start driving that leg and anchor it. So it's kind of like you're going go, 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 like, you know, sail, 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 leader, deep. Sail, 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 leader, deep. That's the policy that I'm going, and, you know, and part of depth is anchoring the people that are down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels. The only way that you can do that, though, is if you have enough income that's going to support you to, say, maybe go outside the city, to go downtown. So, for example, you know, like we have a couple of leaders down in the Tri-Cities, Amanda and Vijon, who are just ripping it up. I mean, these guys are going to the top of the food chain. They're hitting their 2-2 this month. They're doing a great job. Now, they're way down in Siha's count, which is down like they're quite a ways away from me. But you know what? We went down there. Boats. I know Siha's been going down there a lot. And then a couple months ago, they invited me to come down, and I went down and I got to meet my team down there. You know, that's way down there. There was about 100 people out to the event, and it was awesome. The only way that I can really afford to do that is if I have enough width. But I'm down there to find and help some leaders solidify. Now, they're amazing salespeople, but we need to build up leaders under them to drive that security long term, to make that happen. So that's kind of the two. And again, I think Creel's right. Go with the videos. Sometimes people just get a little too crazy about all this stuff, and they start trying to work all the micro angles of the business, and it's like, if I do this and I get another $1 here, and I can't go that far because that's 45 miles and I only go to a 42-mile radius. And look, you do that in your business, it's over. Siha will go to Colombia, like not British Columbia, Colombia, South America, to deal with somebody in his organization. Okay. You know, I've been to Panama to work with people. My God, I've flown from Bali. Okay, I flew to Bali. I came back 5 days later to Florida and went back for people in my organization if I think they're going to be a leader. And sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not. It's not all victories. But if you keep putting it out there, the universe has a funny way of rewarding you in ways that you can't imagine. Then all of a sudden, your next door neighbor decides they go 6A2 or something. You know, it's just weird that way. So here's a question from Harriet. I'm a full-time caregiver to my husband and homebound most of the time. Any ideas how to connect with new people? Guys, you want to talk a little bit about how you would connect with new people? People
Sure.
at home?
The assumption with the question then is that you've gone through 100 people, you've written down a 100 people list, and you've reached out to them, so family, friends, and all the people that you've created relationships with over the last 30, 40 years. So most people haven't done that, and so I would revisit that as a potential, because no doubt there's people there that you already know in your warm market. Or if you've made sales, you're asking for referrals and going through. So new people, well, I would use the internet and social media and get involved with, here, I'll throw an idea out, like find a blog that deals with people like yourself who are at-home caregivers that and that are talking about the experience of what that emotionally feels like in their world, and start to participate in that conversation so that you can meet other people. maybe following bloggers or looking for a Facebook group site that deal with, you know, your age group in your local area that is interested in health or interested in politics. So find out, connect with who you are and say, I want to go find more people like that, and hit a Google search engine and put that in there and spend some time researching on the internet, and you're going to find groups and communities that exist, and then you can just be yourself there and start to form some relationships, and at a certain point the opportunity to share more deeply about what you're up to is going to present itself. So it's doing the work and getting yourself out there a little bit.
Awesome. I'd like to share with, now I see your question says new people. You know, in your phone, we all have 2, 3, 4, 500 contacts, and they may not be new people, but they can introduce you to new people. 60-70% of my business is referrals. So what it is the people that I already know, I ask them, my hairstylist, my mechanic, my doctor, whoever I'm using for a service, my insurance person, you know, who do you know that would love me? Who do you know that can use my product? Who do you know that needs an opportunity? So that's how I get to meet new people. So I share with you, go to the people you already know, make sure that they know what you're doing, and then ask them for referrals. That's how you meet new people. That's one of my biggest ways of meeting new people. Creel said social media, excellent. And then a third way that Enagic, through Enagic EWS, Enagic web system, is the infinity leads. You can, if you want to be at home and you want to have leads come to you and you want to follow up with them, because you will open new business by following up with them, and Enagic has a new program that they're rolling out that's tied to target marketing people who are specifically looking for our product and specifically looking to our opportunity. It's just rolling out right now, but you can get information at Enagic Web System, and Daryl Persak is in charge of that department there. So that's my advice for meeting new people. Okay, and that is the affinity leads do cost money, but you know what? This is your business. Invest in your business and invest in growing it. So I share that with you.
Excellent answers, guys. We're going to go on to the next question, which is coming from Mary Ave. It says, when someone is interested to ask for units information, and after they see the info, they change their minds to the price. Too pricey for me. Now, what would your next step be? They also know about the business. Well, that's a great question. And again, as soon as you get on the defensive, it's over. And what I mean by when you start running around and responding to that person's story, it's not about the money. People think it's about the money. It's about that they don't believe that they can do it. They don't believe they can afford it. They don't believe it. Because I don't think there's anybody that actually sees this demonstration that doesn't want a water machine. Like, I would say that if you give a demonstration and you said at the end, pick up a water machine at the end, it's free. Are people going to pick up those water machines if they're free? Of course they are. So the question is you've got to ask questions, and that is, and without asking questions, you don't know where you're going. So it's like, okay, well, why do you think that's too pricey? Or what is the budget that you're most comfortable with? If I could show you a way that could fit within that budget, would you be interested in taking participation of that? If I can show you how your tax savings are actually going to offset the most or the entire price of the machine, would that be of interest to you? What are the things that you like to do? You know, are you familiar with how the compensation program is? Because I'm looking for a few key people to work with and take this. There's all these different questions that you can ask people, and to go back to this, you really need to dive into the Jordan Belfort training, because the reality is what I'm hearing here is you want to double down on your sales training. You've got to expect the no. You have got to go into the sale and wait for the no, but you're strategically waiting for the no. You've asked enough questions, and Siha talked about this. You've asked enough questions on the forefront that you're going to be able to ferret out the real objection later on. And if you're not asking questions, needs, and then you've got to fix or help them get those things in a eloquent and an honest manner. And if you do that, the sky's the limit. But if you go in and you're going, if you have a belief system that these machines are too much money and people aren't going to pay it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get blown up by the price all the time. And we've all been there. We've all been blown up by the price, and then you just get over it. And how you get over it is asking questions. So guys, you want to add to that? Because I think this is probably, just so you know, and I'm not here to single anybody out, this is probably the biggest obstacle that people have in being successful in the business is overcoming this objection. Guys, you want to share your feedback?
Sure, I can jump in. So a real simple model is feel, felt, found. So you get the objection that, hey, I saw that and I'm like, it's too expensive for me. And basically it's shut down. I say, hey, you know what, I know exactly how you feel. I felt the same way when I got introduced to this 6 years ago. I was thinking, there's no way I'm going to buy a $4,000 water system. But what I found was the company actually offers a bunch of financing available that you can actually get one of these systems for about $100 a month. Would that be something you're more comfortable with? I handle the objection. I make it totally right. You're fine, good, but here's a solution. And then $100 a month, the person can either say, go yes or no. And they say, well, that might work. What's the deal with that? And I explain a little bit. Or they say no, and in which case it's another objection. And I'm like, oh, do you not see the value in our technology to pay $100 a month? Because if they're not buying, that means they don't see the value. And if it's a value question, then I want to make sure I'm getting the real objection, which is like, hey, it's not the price. It's just like there's not enough value built into that price for me yet. And so if I get that it's a value issue, be like, hey, you know what, I'm sorry, I've really let you down, because there's a lot of value here that I want to make sure that you're aware of before you say no to this, because it's just been so transformational for me and so many other people. Would you be open if I sent you, a few links that I think can create a little bit more value for you that might make that $100 a month, look really good? Interested? So I'm dealing with the price, or I'm dealing with the real objection, which might be, hey, there's not enough value here. So asking questions, feel, felt, found, and then responding with an invitation, doing the inviting formula all over again to help solve that problem. But Wade's right. It's asking the questions, but getting comfortable in that process. So feel, felt, found for me is a very comfortable process that then I can ask another question of how to help the person. So I continuously do that over and over again. Siha?
Yeah, awesome. I agree with both of you guys. There's a lot of variables here. So for myself, stories sell, facts tell. We say that over and over again. So getting to know them, if I already had been talking to them and they've answered some questions, I would tell them stories that related to them, whether it was on their health or their wealth or whatever it is. So stories sell, facts tell, I would do that. I would offer them different options, whether, like Creel said, the financing, whatever. But for myself, if they don't see the $4,000, $5,000 value, it's okay, let's talk about the travel. Let's talk about the level of car. Let's talk about, maybe it's the Yukon. Let's talk about the Yukon. Let's get in that. Let's get healthier that way first, and build a business or whatever. So I look at other options, is what I'm saying. So if they're going to stop there, and again, a lot of variables, but this is what I would do. Go to other options that I have. What do we have available to us? Storytelling, and then giving them their options and letting them choose. That's it.
And remember this, and is you've got to get to the no. Every time that you do a pitch, you've got to hit the objections. You cannot imagine the level of objection I threw up on this business. You really couldn't. The people that I dealt with, I screamed at them, I swore at them, I pounded tables. I was the worst guy you could possibly imagine. I gave them so much of a hard time, but they just kept drilling, and drilling. And you know what? Eventually, there was no objections left. I was done. I had to get the machine. And you know what? It was the best thing that ever happened to me. And when you get into your mindset And this is part of doing the webinars, doing the events, doing the things, listening to the calls, getting plugged in all the time, and getting your belief factor up that you are in a business where you're doing a service to that person's health. You're doing a service to that person's finances. You're doing a service to the environment. This is the greatest business that you could be involved in. It's an entrepreneurial business. You've got the capitalistic power of $1 billion 42-year-old company. We're the #1 commodity in the world. We have a product that changed people's lives. We have a product that is endorsed by some of the greatest doctors in the world, most of the top earning athletes in the world. It's good for grandmas, and it's good for kids, and it's good for parents. This machine is so amazing. It's so outrageously good. It's such an incredible value for people. If they can't see it, it's just like, you just got to be like, I don't understand. I've done something wrong. We need to review this tape again. And that's what Jordan talks about, looping. You keep looping back and forth until you build up over their mind. Your superior level of belief and conviction and communication that you're here to help and you're going to make a difference in this person's life, and we've just got to get whatever this little tiny obstacle you have, like, is this a money thing? It's a fear thing? Like, okay, how do we get past that so I can help you, that we can change and make a difference? Didn't you always want to make a difference? Didn't you always want to change the world? Didn't you want to be healthy? Didn't you want to have great finances? Of course you did. We all did. But somewhere along the way, that person's dream got smashed. That person's belief got smashed. That person's hopes got smashed. And you got to reach out and grab them, and you got to put it in your heart that this is what I do, and I go out and I change people's lives. And our machine does that. And this technology is amazing. And we've got the greatest team ever, and we've got the best training system. And you know what? If you can't afford a machine right now, you got to double down and get part of this business, because this business can change that too. So are you in or you out? Like, are you ready to change your life? Are you ready not to be able to afford the things that's good for you? Are you ready to be the person that just goes on? Like, step it up. Just step it up. Like, get serious. And you know what? What's the worst thing that can happen? They say no again. But the average person goes through 4 or 5 no's to get to that yes. So every time you hear the no, you go, okay, I got one. I got to get 4 or 5 more before they're gonna guess, and you're gonna ask questions. So I think with that, guys, we're at the top of the hour, a little bit over. Longer action. But hey, guys, I really appreciate you guys asking the questions. I mean, the bottom line, we could talk till we're blue in the face, but at the end of the day, we're here to help, and we're here to. I love the questions. Keep the questions going, because these guys on the call have answered those questions. They solved those problems, and we can help you do the same thing. And that's what the Prosperity and Health Alliance is all about. So pick up your tickets. By the way, just a tidbit, we are waiting on a very, very, very special penthouse party. The first 100 people that book for this, it's not confirmed because we're trying to get the space confirmed, but the first 100 people are going to get dibs on the event. So you heard it. You heard it here. I don't want to hear no complaints. If you're locked out of the penthouse party, this is the view, guys. This is where we're at. We're up here on the wall. This is where the party's going to be. So you get the thing. That's a little word from me. I love you guys. We love you guys. We can't wait to see you at the event. We really want you to have an awesome summer. If you're going on vacation, have a great vacation. If you're coming back from vacation, time to get fired up. It's only a couple weeks away. Labor Day, long weekends here. Summer's over. Fall's on. Let's go out there and have the best year ever, the best fall ever, and the greatest Christmas ever. I want to thank my guys with me tonight, hitting those big ranks. The teams are rocking. The teams are rolling. We just need you all to jump on board. And thanks so much, guys. Prosperity and Health Alliance. Check your webinar or your inbox tomorrow, and we'll make sure that you get the links to pick up your tickets for the September 11th, Turbo Sunday, 5 hours of nonstop inspiration. Can't wait to see you there.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.